Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Crank Addict, and this is the channel for crank addicts like me and hopefully like you guys. Today we're going to try to install some aluminum trim on our Blazer project here. I finally got in this front fender piece from Brother's truck, and it's a bit screwed up. Oh boy. When I got it, this top piece here was bent about 45 degrees, and I tried to bend it back, but boy, that's a big bend, and the metal was stretched, and unfortunately the stretched part is going to show when installed as the upper part as opposed to the lower part. So I'm going to contact them and see what they say, but yeah, I'm not real happy with that. And it's not damage in shipping. This was done at Holley when they package this stuff. When they package this stuff, they throw it in their box, they squirt a bunch of spray foam in there, and I believe the spray foam actually has enough force to bend this soft aluminum. So they need to figure out what they're doing with the packaging and change some things around, because that is messed up. So anyway, I will let you guys know what Holley says after I contact them about this piece. But I can still use this piece to drill the holes in my brand new replacement body panels here. So we'll be drilling a lot of holes. I will be assembling this upper trim first, then moving on to the lower trim. So stay tuned. Alright, well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this blue tape that I put on here. I was hoping I'd be able to figure this out on my own as far as how to set off the cove, the two-tone paint job, but I'm afraid that I'm going to screw this thing up. So that's when I decided, let's get these body panels ordered. I'm just going to take this tape and set it off to the side here. I can use that later. This truck is going to need a serious degreasing when I'm all done with it. I'm going to start in the back here on the molding because I got some factory holes already punched in here. I'd like to reuse them if I can. Real quick, in case you guys didn't see my last video, look at the bend in this one here. This is a minor bend compared to that, what happened to that front piece. But yeah, I can straighten this out nice and easy. That's almost there. Oh, look at that. This trim is too long. This trim was bought for a short bed truck as opposed to the Jimmy. And I was told it was the same length, but it is obviously quite a bit longer. So I'm going to have to figure out what to do with that. Let me check the other side. Alright, well, I just checked my packaging, and on the left side here, I did order a Blazer upper bedside molding, and on the passenger side, I ordered a molding for a short bed truck. Even the Blazer molding seems too long, so I'm not going to film this twice. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the Blazer molding on this side, and we'll kind of go from there, okay? So let's get this old tape off. Alright, well, these clips are being a bit of a pain in the butt. They don't seem to really want to stay in place very well. back side here. Oh, screw fits super loose. I don't know if I'm supposed to have a clip in this hole or what, but that's not very good. Ah, joy. Okay, so I've got a bigger screw now. Well, not so much the length, but the diameter. I think this is a size 6. It's like a 1/2 inch 6. This is like a 1 inch number 8. Okay, so can you see that there, guys? Oh man, it's hard to show. Anyway, let's see if this number 8 fits. There's lots of room on the back side of this pan. It's still loose. I'm probably going to need to put some kind of a clip or something on the back of that to hold it in place. If I would have known, I would have welded that up and then re-drilled it, but too late for that now. Okay, so in this original panel, I've actually got a hole back here, so I'm going to try to use that if I can. These clips seem a little small to me. I may have to silicone them in place to make sure they stay. Hope I can make up for that gap there. Oh yeah, we're way off here. Let's give it a good push. All right. So, I think if I re-drill the back hole, then this would be pretty good. But I don't have much room to re-drill that hole because, you know, that other hole was so large. That may be an issue. Okay, scary moment number 1. It's time to drill a hole. And I'm trying to push that as far over as I can. Okay. Where's the little number 6 screw? Let's see how that looks. If I put that in place on the new hole. Oh, it's tight. I only drilled it 3 seconds. I'm just going to work it back and forth, expand the metal. There we go. And that's in there. Okay. Let's see here. How does that look? Trim does seem to hang over this edge just a hair where I drilled it. Let's look at the front. It's flying around. Okay. Can't get up close there. All right, so now if I start squeezing this around, putting some pressure on there, see, that's not too bad there. I can live with that little bit of a gap. And because I've got a hole drilled for this lower panel here, I'm going to go ahead and install this next piece of molding. All right, this is definitely for a blazer. That's good. 73 to 80. screws on this piece. And so it looks like, see here, the black marks face each other. One goes down, one goes up. I've got 2 clips in here. And these 2 clips want to stay in here. They do not want to come out. There we go. All right. Let's see here. So I've got a snap in, and I've got the nut. The nut is going to go on the back because you have access back here behind the panel, and this clip-in one will go up front. This time I'm going to put the little finger facing downward. I think that'll work. Now I do have some wheel trim molding that's going to go on here. So ideally, if you're going to be using wheel trim, you should install that first before you drill your second hole here. Because this thing can slide. I guess it can slide either way. Doesn't really matter because it can slide with this piece here or with the other one. What's more important though is to make sure you're parallel to the upper piece. So I'm going to get a tape measure and double check that real quick. This front hole center line is 1.5 inches from the edge of the door jamb. And the second hole, as measured on the other fender, was 14 1/4 from this one here. Okay, so I just kind of put this on the 3 mark, stuck it across, 17 1/4. Boom, right there. Draw the line. And I'm going to draw a little higher here. Make sure it shows up. Okay. Now I'm going to install the trim. And the distance between the trim is going to be just a tick under 13 1/2. It's like 13 7/16. So 13 7/16 is there. And let's tape this down. Okay. So now with that in place, we're going to try to find the center line here. I need to do this anyway. So when I take this thing off, it'll be correct. Okay. Must be on some weld or something right there. Because I did cut it there originally, so there's probably a weld seam right through there, which is why it's extra tough. So that's an easy line to mask off later. So I'm just going to remove the blue tape in its entirety. Something like that. Got a little bit of a bow here, but it's like I need to bend this a little bit more steeply so that this clip will hold it down tight. I could put another screw over here, or I could, if I would have put this screw hole here instead of there, it would have been good, but I'm going to try to put this in the factory position whenever I can, so I'll have to bend the trim to make it fit more tight. Okay, shall we do the back piece? Okay, so I've got another piece here that's designated for a short bed. Oh boy, scary. But it looks like it's gonna fit the Blazer. Okay. I may have an issue over here again. I had to re-drill that other hole. So, yeah, that screw hole is off. So, you tell me, did the factory drill this hole in the wrong position or what? So, there's where the factory did it. That's where I need to do it. Well, it is what it is, right? It is what it is. Yeah, that reveal looks really good. Very similar to the top one. Now, if we come over here, the pieces should be slightly different. This is supposed to go down a little bit. Let's see what we got here. 9 and, I don't know, 7/8. And up here, 10 1/4. All right, well that's going down definitely. Can it go down more? I don't know. Wonder what the best number is there. Hang on. All right, so I'm going to play around with this thing here and set the front edge here at about 10.5 inches from the top. I think that's what Mar K recommends. All right, here goes nothing. There we go. Something like that. All right, so here's the effort. There's a screw hole in the front that we'll need to plan for. You got a lot of junk in there. So we got a screw hole in the front, and it looks like we're going to have a speed clip in the back. I'm just going to stick this up there and eyeball it the best I can for now. So that's in line with the body line. So I need to drill a small hole up front. We will mark that. And on the back hole, we're going to have that speed nut. But you've also had the lock mechanism right here. So how are we going to get to that? You have to be very careful when you plan on putting that speed nut, or you may not be able to get your nut on from the back side. Seems to me this might be better. On the other side, I don't know. Let's see. Okay, so this is about 3 1/4 inches there. 3 1/4, maybe 3 1/2. If you go any further back, then you will need to remove your lock mechanism in order to get access to that that nut on the back side. All right, so now I can remove the tape and the trim, and we can drill some holes. And because it's the bolt, I'm going to use the 1/4 inch bit again instead of the 3/8. Okay, now for this bottom one, we're going to set up the same way. Let's double check our measurements here. We should be just under 13 1/2. It's like 13, that's right at 13 1/2. So it needs to come up maybe a 1/16 of an inch. Our spacing looks good again. So I'm going to mark this front screw hole. And on the back, let's see what we have back here. We've got nothing back here. All right, so let's see where I want to drill this hole. It's like a great spot for a nut right there. So, let's see if I can go ahead. I'll go ahead and put a little tape. Okay. Let's pull off all the tape and see how we did. Oh, bingo. Nice. All right, guys. Want to see something scary? This short bed truck trim is too long for the Blazer by about 6 inches. So, we're going to chop it. How do you like them apples? Alright, so we've got the trim molding installed on this passenger side from the tailgate all the way up here to the front of the door. So now we got the task of figuring this one here out. This one here is a little bit more complicated than the others. Let me spin the camera around. The problem with this one here is you got an inner structure that you've got to find. There are some holes pre-drilled in this inner structure, so you got to make sure that you drill the holes in the right spot, or you'll never be able to get the nuts on your retaining studs. Let me show you that real quick. Okay, so time to go flying. Here we go. Ooh, 6.0. All right, so here's the inner fender structure in beautiful lime green pearl metallic. You can see these holes here. 1, 2, 3. There's a 4th way back there. Oh my gosh. That's gonna be tough to get to. I wonder if I gotta pull the fender off for that one. Oh, that'd be a pain in the ass. Anyway, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then down here on the bottom, I don't know, I guess you can get to it from this opening down here. I guess that'll work, but yeah, those guys there are going to be a pain. What to do about that one? Okay, so that hole is going to fall right about here on the door, which is well short of the end here. I think the piece has a screw on the end. Let's see here. Yeah, we got a little screw hole right there on the end to hold it here. So that's not a problem. There is no screw hole down here on the bottom part. So what do we got for hardware here? Do we have any blind clips? Don't know if you guys can hear my chicken in the background. Someone's laying an egg. Oh, let's get that way too far here. I gotta push it back. Either my fender is warped or this trim piece is warped. I'm betting the trim piece is warped. Okay, so now I'm just kind of reaching over and placing this second piece of tape about where I think this hole is going to land. To my best guess anyway. If I can match that body line, just in case we get original trim later on. All right, well on this bottom one, don't get too close to the edge here because you got a double wall fender here. If you get too close, then you're not going to be able to get your nut on there. So I'm going to come in almost directly underneath this light, the signal light. So, like this one's not super important. I think that'll work well there. All right, so the nuts that are going to be used on the backside are either 3/8 or 10 mil. So I've got a 10 mil socket here. And I'm just going to place it in the hole and try to get it as comfortably placed as I can. And I want to eyeball this here. Look on both sides. Right there. That's where I want to drill that hole. Alright, so I'm going to bring my midline mark over. There. And let's repeat it. Moving over. A little harder to see here. I think that's it right there. We'll see how close I am when we're all done here, right? Okay, on these two front ones here, I decided to place this top one pretty much even with this signal light here, and the bottom one even with the bottom of that signal light. The very bottom one is going to go in line with that signal light. So I think that's going to work pretty well. Don't put one in line with the top because there's no access there. It's got to be over here. Time to drill. And for these studs, I'm just using a 1/4 inch drill. It specs out like 0.242 or something like that. So basically a 1/4 inch. That'll work. I can get to that. Sweet! 6 more to go. This is the screw hole over here. The screw hole is not halfway in the middle, by the way. So if you drill a screw hole halfway in, you're going to be wrong. I'm just double checking all my measurements here. This one's the least critical of all the bolt holes because they got a huge axis behind here. Make sure the center here looks good. Yeah. Good. All right. Now I want to swap this out for a 1/4 inch bit, 0.242 to be exact. There goes my lower trim. Okay. So at this point, we might as well just toss this. Okay. What's done is done. Alright, well, before you start plugging these things in, I recommend you go ahead and on a bench or something, go ahead and get these little nuts started if you're using brand new bolts, because you need to cut some threads in them, or else it'll be a lot harder to do this inside the vehicle. You don't have to go all the way, just enough so you can get this speed nut started, and then you can get a wrench on there. No, I'm not going to show you all 7. Now, if you have girly hands, you may want to put some gloves on so you don't cut yourself. Just saying. Okay, well, I just cut myself, so here we go. All right, done. Okay, I'm just going to approximate where these clips go. And I also got pretty close. Stay in there. Pretty close to that piece there, so you gotta watch out for that. I was not expecting that to be an issue. I don't know why they make this in 2 pieces, because it's always shipped in 1. Good, not too tight. Okay, so almost done. One last piece here. Remember, it's going to be 13.5 inches from the 2 pieces. So from the bottom of the top to the top of the bottom, 13.5 inches. Make sure you install it and you like the way it looks before you do your tape line. I'm going to double check this tape line, make sure it's all good, and we'll see how it goes. Alright. Well, I was about to end this video, but I found out something that you guys should know. I was fixing to drill out these holes here for this lower front fender trim piece. And I realized there is no access at all from the back to get to this front bolt stud. You know, the trim piece comes with a stud, but you can't get to it. So you can, suppose you could pull the fender off and take a guess and then, you know, drill it out. You could take a small drill bit, drill all the way through it, and then try to enlarge it from the back side with a hole saw. That'd probably all work, but I'm probably just going to use a snap-in clip to hold it. A lot of these trims came with these clips, like such, and these things just kind of snap into place, and they're really tough to get out. They hold the trim really well, as long as the aluminum doesn't let go of this part anyway. So if the aluminum is attached well here, you can silicone them in. These hold really well. So that's what I'm going to do. If you guys want to, drill all the way through and then do the hole saw thing from the back, that's up to you. I'm just letting you know beforehand. Alright guys, well that's about it for this video. I'm still waiting for another front fender trim. I mentioned before that I thought I had one, but this is what I got. And this is the box that it was put in. Why do you bend trim to fit in a box that's too small? Anyway, I filed a complaint. So this is probably going to take a little while longer to deal with. So as soon as I get this figured out, I'm going to tape the blazer up and we're going to paint this thing. If you like this video, if you found it helpful, hit that like button, hit the subscribe if you want to see more of it, and I'll catch you guys later. Thanks for watching.